How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we gotta talk about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, aka AOC, having a virtual town hall and then getting asked a question about defunding the police. They're asking, hey, what does a world look like when you defund the police? And she responds and says, a world without police is like a suburb. Now, this is a ridiculous claim, an absurd claim. And before I get into how it's absurd and why it's absurd, let's go ahead and roll the clip. In this clip, you'll see what she said in its full context. And after we get done with that, I'll talk about what she said. Then I'll give you my 2 cents, my deep detail analysis, and then I'll wrap it on up with a nice bow on top. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
If you want to weigh in there as well, but I had to go off on that because I don't have a police detail because I don't want that outside of my apartment door every day. That doesn't make me feel safe. That doesn't make me feel secure. Of course there are instances when we have our town halls, etc., but I don't want to live my life that way. And so I don't. When people ask me, what does a world where we defund the police, where, defunding police looks like, I tell them it looks like a suburb, because in Yorktown Heights and in a lot of these communities in Westchester, what is the most important thing that is politically the most important thing that the world revolves around? It's school funding. People will uproot their entire lives. You will see people go nuts for school funding. This doesn't happen in suburbs for a lot of reasons. One, suburbs were not redlined. And so there isn't a generational disinvestment from Yorktown that there was in the South Bronx. Two, we actually fully fund, and with a lot of wealthy areas, their PTAs add millions of dollars to school operating budgets. So these kids aren't subject to a school to prison pipeline. When teenagers go into high school in Westchester County, they don't get patted down. They don't have to go through metal detectors. And they have school counselors. There'll be 5, 6 school counselors. So of course this doesn't happen in suburbs. I would say this isn't reflective of the community. It's reflective of our policy. And it's reflective of how we treat communities differently in terms of their investment. And so that's what I'd say to that point.
All right, so you saw that, you heard that. Now, this is ridiculous. I'm going to just start straight from the beginning, get straight to it. A world without police looking like a suburb, how does this make any sense at all? Okay, first of all, if you could just make a dangerous neighborhood into a safe neighborhood by removing the police, then it would have already been done. This is very simple. It's just like the whole thing of communism, socialism, UBI, and whatnot. People say, hey, that's a solution. That's the way forward. Let's become Marxists. Let's become communists. Let's become socialists, or whatever they want to call it or dress it up as. That'll fix everything. And then when you ask them, hey, can you point to a successful society where that was tried and actually implemented, and they have nothing for you, talking about, oh, it was never done right? Well, what's the right way to do it? I mean, these are not new ideas. Why hasn't it been done right? And why is your way going to work, but the other ways that have been tried over and over again fail? I'm talking about China, USSR, Venezuela, Cuba, the list goes on. I could go on and on, Cambodia. I can go on and on and on and on. So what are we even talking about? What she's saying is not going to actually work. It does not make any sense, because the police simply being there does not cause a neighborhood to become dangerous. That's not how that works. The police are a force that makes neighborhoods safer, okay? If you have a safe neighborhood without a large police presence, it's because it's a safe neighborhood already. The police are not going to cause it to be more dangerous. It'll have the opposite effect. It'll make it more safe. The police are not generally seen in the suburb areas because you have people that aren't engaging in lawlessness out in those areas. That's how that works. The police are seen more in inner city areas, the Black, Hispanic, whatever. They're seen more there because of all the crime that happens in these places. It's not really a hard thing to understand. I come from these environments and I understand why the police are there. Okay. People don't really understand the way that these neighborhoods work when they don't live there. People like AOC growing up in a nice suburb away from the city, don't really understand the way it's like in these communities. You may come by and visit or just drive through. You may have family there, but until you actually live there and you operate there every day, you're raised in that kind of environment, it's hard for you to really understand what's going on. All right. Now, in these dangerous areas, low income communities, whatever it is, you don't have everybody engaging in crime. That's a fact. We all know that. However, there is a large population of people that do commit crime. Now, how large is it compared to the general population? Not that big. Less than 1%, maybe a little bit more than that. But it's enough to cause a problem. You don't have to have everybody in the whole neighborhood become a gangbanger to make a neighborhood unsafe. And people that live there are only part of the problem. You have outsiders that come in, they want to engage in drama, they want to engage in general crime. I've seen situations where people would get robbed, like on the campus of Old Dominion University back in Norfolk, and they have the suspects listed, and they're all from other places. All right. It's because they come to this one particular area where they know they can rob people, it's kind of dangerous or whatever, and they engage in crime. Okay. So it's not always just the immediate locals that commit crime. You got to have police presence in these areas. Without the police presence, the crime is going to go up. That's how that works. I don't understand how you're going to just remove the police and have a dangerous area become more safe. That simply doesn't make any sense. All right. And I've said it before, these people that want to defund the police or remove the police, they don't really care about the actual effects of this. They don't care if the black on black murder rate goes up 200, 300, 400%. I said that in a debate on TV on RT. And if you want to see the debate, I'll link it in the box below. I said it on TV. People thought I might have been exaggerating, but nah, we've seen like a 600% increase in shootings somewhere in the US. It might have been in LA County, somewhere like that. We've seen a very big uptick in shootings, not just LA County, but of course, Chicago. I mean, that's kind of unfortunately commonplace. That's becoming more and more. New York City, Philadelphia, all over the United States. Where you're talking about having less police, you're going to have more crime. Because when you say something like, okay, we're going to defund the police, less police officers, less enforcement, all you do is give a green light to the criminals to go commit crime. And sometimes you get guys who come from other states even to go to a soft city, a sanctuary city, especially to sell their drugs, to move to prostitutes, to commit general crime. You may have serial rapists, serial killers that come to these places to commit their crimes. That's going on, okay? Because the sanctuary city thing, talk about that right quick. If you have a sanctuary city and you're defunding the police, well, what's going to stop a drug cartel from Mexico coming in, setting up shop, and doing whatever they want to do? Okay. Oh, so what? It's just drugs. It's their own body. But you don't understand what drugs do to an environment. I've lived in a drug infested neighborhood before. People that say, you know, we should have legal drugs and it's okay, don't want to live in an area where drugs are very commonly used out in the open. And the people that are on drugs are just allowed to roam free and do whatever they want to do. Have you ever been around somebody on drugs? Like, I'm talking about heroin, meth, cocaine, PCP. I've been around that. It's not safe. And then on top of that, you want to have no police or less police. It doesn't make any sense. A lot of times when you see a big police presence in a low income area, it's at the request of the residents. Okay, you got old ladies, grandmas, little kids, stuff like that. Just want to be able to get from point A to point B safely. They want to live in their home safely. I've ducked down on the ground many a time because people are shooting outside. I'm not trying to get shot through my window or through the drywall or whatever. And you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to just be safe. So I'm ducking down on the ground. My cousin from Little Rock said that during the crazy times, the banging times back in like late 80s, early 90s, it's like early 90s especially, they would have their the entertainment center on the ground, like no stand for their TV, because they would always watch TV laying on the floor because there was so many drive-bys. That is what a dangerous neighborhood is. When you have a police presence, you're going to have less of that. And a police presence is able to get the criminals behind bars in the penitentiary away from the community. So removing the police is going to have the opposite effect of what AOC said. But like I said, people like AOC don't understand. They don't come from the community. And I got to address this one last thing. People talking about poverty. Poverty is the reason why you have so much violence. That's not even, poverty is a symptom of a greater problem. It's not the cause of other symptoms. You got to fix, if you want to fix things, fix the, kill the welfare state, no more welfare state, because the welfare state is funding all of this. Then bring dads back in the house and have tighter laws, not softer laws. You need more police, not less police. What are we even doing? Poverty will not cause you to commit crime. Not the way it's going on right now. There may be some crime that's caused by poverty, but not like, you're not going to kill little kids over poverty. Okay, you got a 1-year-old just got shot in Brooklyn, New York at a barbecue. What's that got to do with poverty? You had an 8-year-old shot in Atlanta, Georgia, another 8-year-old shot in Alabama, a 7-year-old shot in Chicago, an 11-year-old shot in DC. I could go on and on and on. What does a little kid got to do with poverty? What does that got to do with poverty? Like, why are you killing little kids? It's because of other issues, lack of fathers, lack of proper home training, bad culture. That's the cause of these issues we're facing today, not the police. The police, as I've said many times before, are the last bastion of hope. Without the police, we pretty much would be lost in the black community and in other low-income, poverty, crime-ridden areas all over the country. We'd be lost without the police. Take the police away, you're going to have more shootings, more killings. And if people like AOC and other liberal politicians, they'll just excuse it away and say, oh, well, there's other things. There's racism going on. Racism, what does that got to do with killing little kids? What does that got to do with killing somebody over a girl, over, a bad look? I know guys that are in jail or dead because of that. Petty stuff, girls, small amounts of money, just, jealousy, envy, that kind of thing. So, no, don't remove the police. And if you take the police out of a dangerous area, it will not become a suburb. That's not how that works. The police do not make things more dangerous. They only make things more safe. And that's a fact. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think that AOC had a point about removing the police to make a neighborhood more safe? If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. Or did she not have a point about that? If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. You know where I stand. She did not have a point about taking police out, making neighborhoods more safe. That's not how it goes. You got to have more police to make a neighborhood more safe. If you're going to do anything with the police at all, bring more in. And aside from the police and politicals like AOC, people in the community must make the community better for themselves. They got to do things that will improve the standard of living. Okay, if you're throwing garbage on the ground, cussing and fussing, smoking drugs, selling drugs, and engaging in general lawlessness, it's going to cause a problem. All right. That shouldn't be going on. If you can stop all that, squash all that, and fix internal problems, you would not need as much police. But for right now, today, as I'm speaking, police are required in these areas. They are essential workers. That's a fact. You take them out, you're going to take more of us out. The politicals don't care, but we have to care. And whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.